In today's political climate, change in Washington is the only guarantee. And when small businesses aren't plugged in, they pay the price. That's why NSBA keeps you hardwired to what's happening inside DC.
Hi, Jack. How are you doing today?
Hey, Molly. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing very well. For those of you who aren't in DC or are joining us online, welcome to Hardwired. We're always happy to have you here and keep you connected with what's happening on all things policy and small business within the DC Beltway. Jack, I know last week you were very busy with our policy groups. Give us a quick update on that.
Yeah, we had a great last week on member engagement because we had our leadership council call last Tuesday, and then we had policy group calls over Wednesday and Thursday. Which are always great. One of the fun things we did this time is there was a lot of policy ideation. I think we're really starting to sort of organizationally set our eyes on what 2027 is going to look like and the issues we want to weigh in there. So we talked a ton about energy policy from a few different perspectives, from the regulatory perspective, from the tax perspective, and a few others. And members were able to put forth some really interesting ideas to me that I'm currently trying to synthesize into a few different pillars, really, that we can sort of engage on with energy policy over the coming years. So it was an exciting time, and I always appreciate talking to our members.
And I know that we've been really pushing that energy survey. We're about halfway to where we want to be in terms of the number of responses. So check out the link up here. Please take it today. We'd love to hear from you. Having your input really helps inform how we craft our policy. So we definitely need to hear from you on that. Beyond meeting with our policy groups, Jack, I know that you and Todd had a really great meeting with the acting chief counsel over at the SBA Office of Advocacy. Can you give us a little insight into what you guys talked about?
Sure, yeah. The SBA Office of Advocacy has recently undergone some leadership changes, so we were keen to talk to the new leadership and essentially want to make sure that we're continuing our great partnership with that office that's been going on since its inception many years ago. I think we're very optimistic about how things are progressing over there. It seems like there's a strong vision of leadership, and we plan on engaging again soon.
So looking forward to this week, Jack. I know there's some hearings on the Hill that you'll be attending. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, nothing over in the Senate, but over in the House, there's going to be a hearing in the Small Business Committee, specifically the SBA Office of Investment and Innovation and the role that they play in empowering small businesses. So, yeah, it should be a great hearing. That's I think, undervalued and under-talked about office. So I'm glad that it's going to get a little bit of attention.
I know that we've also got some regulatory action coming this week, the Joint Employer Rule, Jack. Talk to us a little bit about that. And if you can, just do a quick 30-second dive into what it means and what's the process and how do you do all that?
Sure. Well, today is, in fact, the deadline for public comment submission on the new Joint Employer Rule. Luckily, NSBA's comments have been ready for a while, and we will be pressing send probably right after this call. To talk a little bit about the notice and comment period, essentially whenever the federal government, any agency of the federal government, issues a piece of new rulemaking, which is to say generally guidance or guidelines around how legislation policy is going to be enforced or administered, the government has an obligation to put out a proposed rule to everybody, to industry, to the common citizenry, trade associations like us. So we get to look at that rule, we get to make sure that they're hopefully on the right track, and then people get a chance to voice their concerns by a comment period. Usually this happens within a 60-day period, sometimes it's 30, sometimes 90. Those comments are taken on by government, they're reviewed by people, they're reviewed by staff at the agency that promulgated the proposed rule. And then comments can be incorporated. They can sometimes change the rules so that the final rule might look very different than the proposed rule. Sometimes it doesn't play out that way. Sometimes the proposed rule looks almost exactly like the final rule. It really depends on what type of rule it is, what agency, the political moment. There are all sorts of different factors that go into it, but it is one of the great tools of the executive branch that there is this built-in system by which people can actually provide direct comment to government. And NSBA has been historically very active on the rulemaking front. It's also somewhere where our friends over at the SBA Office of Advocacy, it's sort of their job to make sure that rulemakings coming out of different agencies are taking into account the small business angle. So that's a place where we partner with them over there. Yeah, so we love writing them, we love sending them, and we love giving the small business take on things.
And if that sounds too complicated to you, there's a really easy way you can avoid all of that. Join Jack for his quarterly issue committee calls. Those are policy committee calls that anybody, any NSBA member can participate in. He's always seeking input, so we love to hear from folks that way. So if you don't have time to do the whole comment process, that's what we're here to do. We can make it real easy for you, 30 minutes to an hour quarterly, and you can give us your input that way, and we'll make sure that we relay that to federal regulators. So I think that's all we've got this week. Jack, it's always nice talking with you. Go Team USA, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Thanks.
Bye, everybody.